This show kind of like, this episode kind of turned everything on its head for me.
It's definitely changing.
Yeah.
Everything a little bit.
I don't know, man.
I mean, we now know why Mob doesn't want to use his powers against other people. So that in itself even changes how we see him.
We know Mob doesn't want to use his powers against other people. I wonder how much Mob knows. Like,
Mob doesn't even know what he did there. You're right. Like, what does he know?
Does he have... What does he think? Like, oh, I blacked out and something happened? Because he's conscious and knows when he hits 100%, right? But he has no memory. He had to ask Ritsu what happened then. He has no idea of what is potentially inside of him.
Yeah. Okay, so Reagan's wise, inspirational words.
Of course, I mean, yeah, everything he says. But people who are fast, people who sing well, people who are book smart, people who are good at talking, and people who can use psychic powers. You can't put one over the other. Being confident about your powers is fine, but you mustn't get conceited. Depending on how we use our powers, they can also be deadly weapons. They're just like knives. What are you not supposed to do with knives? Point them at people.
Which is what happened later, so which is perfect.
Yeah, right? Make sure that's the moral code people like us with special powers need to live by. I am still regardless, I love Reagan as a character so far. There is a fleeting hope within my heart that everything that he says is true, and he is somehow so far above every other psychic character in the show that he just can't even like comprehend or relate to what everybody else is doing. I love him so much. I also am really fucking sad about Dimple. I'm devastated.
I mean, like, Mob was so, to us, to the viewer, unaffected visually by Dimple to, like, a great regard. Like, he was like, oh, sorry, I killed your friend, and are you really upset about it? And Mob was like, not really, or something. Mm-hmm. But then he goes and looks for him for 3 hours? Like...
You said it in the episode. As subtle as it is, there is a massive change in expression by Mob. After hearing Teru talk shit about Dimple, like, his eyes become...
Yeah, we pointed it out.
Slightly...
They look a little more... It's like nothing has changed with how he's drawn, but he looks like he's showing a little more emotion than before.
It's not just, like, blank expressionless. It's, like, just a little bit of annoyance. And, like, what the fuck? Which
is so interesting that you can show us some, like, emotion on such a very... a face that's purposefully supposed to look non-emotional.
Well, and Teru even, like, recognizes it, right?
Mm-hmm. What's with that look?
And it's, like, it's that micro expression.
See, I thought that Mob's face situation, you know how we saw him at 100 with the dimple and, you know, that whole fight? And his face was definitely more lively and more filled with expression.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe that thing from his childhood is when he started suppressing all of this. But in that flashback of him with his brother as a kid, it seems like as a kid, he just tried to keep it all back anyway, even though he hadn't seen the extent of what he could do.
Well, there's a difference there. It wasn't him doing it.
He was trying to block his 100.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the shit that did happen. Which, right after this line, I wanted to skip ahead to see, like, what the face we saw in the, like, matte, like, palette knife, charcoal looking, like, I don't know, it looked so cool. But, like, when Mob, like, looks a little bit more annoyed to Teru, he kind of snaps in the sense of, like, reality. Like, he's like, hey, why do you have to belittle others by calling them average or small fry? Like, he gets really, like, real, you know? I just realized that he might actually have been an okay guy, that's all. Like, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Aww. got that little montage of their, like, day-long friendship.
One thing that I'm trying very hard to digest it in the way that's intended. I'm still trying to find a good balance, because it goes from very serious to incredibly comedic shots within the same moments.
Yeah,
like a very serious shot and scene, but the art and things that are happening to the character, like Teru being stripped, is hilarious. So it's like, I don't really know how to feel.
I don't either. I was actually, like, when he was flying up in the air naked, I was like, I shouldn't be, like, laughing by how this is kind of funny. And he never once, like, acknowledges the fact that he's naked. He's not embarrassed by it. Like, nothing.
I love the narrator. This is another, like, fun fact, I guess, that we are learning. We had already previously known that blue stroked and shadowed text emphasizes or means a flashback. So seemingly the same thing, but with red
is a narrator.
Drop shadow is narration. Or so it seemed. And then...
This shocked me.
It really did. It's really
how
really
it's drawn
scary.
Is so cool.
See, it's like oh my god, that's so terrifying.
And it's glitching, the question marks over his mouth.
And like, this is what I mean, because I'm feeling like at this moment I am kind of scared. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And then we see Teru's clothes being stripped, and I want to laugh, but I want to like cry.
Or be terrified.
Yeah.
When it was still kind of funny and not serious, I had said that some of the leg positions he does when he's using his powers looks like he has to pee. But then I'm like, oh, he's about to get his butt kicked.
I like Teru's like realization here, right? That it's not Mob, you know? What the hell is this power? His hair's more Medusa here than it was when he used 100%.
And he's sucking in the powers from Teru and basically from the atmosphere.
When you say he's sucking in the powers from Teru, and this is the shot that's on the screen of his energy
being pulled from... He said it at the time that it's on the screen, Benjamin.
Oh my god. All the energy in the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. That's fucking frightening.
He's a vessel. How
maybe.
Can his or more just he has an immense power within his vessel and not like he has.
Does that okay? What about the thought that like
this isn't like Naruto or anything, you know? So
well, what do you think about the thought that like Teru, for example, what makes him psychic is a being within him, and that being within him would be the vessel. Like, what if he's saying, are you telling me his vessel is able to handle this much? What if I think that my assumption would go to Mob's the vessel. But what if he's saying, like, his vessel's able to handle this much? Like, the inner psychic being inside of him is just so strong. Like a Ryomen Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be getting. Like, am I supposed to be getting that this is, like, a different being and not Mob?
Oh.
I know, it's so freaking scary when it switches to, like, the charcoaly palette knife.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how else to describe it.
Open mouth, like, black eyes.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
It's terrifying.
Something incomparable, its identity unknown. A power that is... It's unidentifiable, or a being that is unidentifiable.
I would assume a being. It could be both, honestly. But
Dimple wanted to possess Mob.
Maybe Dimple didn't even know to the extent. Dimple never saw this.
Dimple couldn't know, too. Because maybe it's so... Remember how Mob's, like, aura is undetectable, basically, to other psychics? Like, Teru didn't even notice that Mob was there. Mob's just so powerful that you can't even truly sense it.
It's so interesting, like, because throughout this moment, Teru, it's not like he's scared and just saying this. He instantly, like, realized, like, to his core that he has nothing. I was on the verge of tears here. Like, it didn't take long for Mob to realize, and then his percentage is ramping up.
Look at his freaking face crying, guys. How could you not get sad watching that? I literally was tearing up.
He caused another accident because of his psychic powers. And it's very interesting that it's
and he just gets down on the ground. I'm like...
He didn't know where to direct his
emotions.
emotions.
I wanted to comfort him. And everything's just
what a good
falling
line.
From the sky.
He was overwhelmed. His powerlessness born from contradictions. Oh.
He's filled with power, but he's powerless to truly control it.
The feeling that he would never be able to conquer himself.
Conquer him. So, okay, well, that wording makes you think that it is him and not some other being.
But there's two different entities. Like, look, sadness. Like, last time we got, like, an emotion. Rage. And, like, so it's like he goes with one emotion here. It seemed like it was just fucking its own monster when it went blank.
Well, maybe it is its own... his emotions are its own monster. His emotions are so strong that they become their own thing. Why did it make me think of that? Like, is it a Pixar movie where all of your emotions, like, inside your head?
Inside Out?
Inside Out. Maybe it's kind of like that. Like, all of his emotions are so strong, they basically have their own, like, identities.
I like that a lot. I wonder if... I don't... Is there, like, a conscious effort? Is he more in control when he's out of control? Like he has straight up intent here to be able to rebuild a school.
This was Mob's meager attempt at resistance towards himself.
Interesting. Because this is full consciousness, you know?
But to him, it will never be enough. Even though he put everything back to the way it is, and no one is dead, and no one is horribly injured, it still isn't enough to make up for the fact that he lost control.
The scene where it said Mob searched for about 3 hours, but he couldn't find Dimple was heartbreaking. I was so sad.
Okay, here's a question. I thought Dimple was just gonna be, like, a part of things now.
Me too.
So do you think Dimple's gonna show up, or do you think Dimple's gone?
I really hope he's not gone.
Well... You know what they say about spirits sometimes? Like, that you could, like, they're in a realm. You know, like, maybe Mob could get to that realm and bring Dimple back. I don't know.
Very true. That being said, Teru was the one who exorcised him or something here. I'm not sure. Favorite episode so far? Distant episode 3, but this is definitely there.
I think this episode showed us that this isn't purely just going to be an artistic... filled with artistic expression and comedy and fun enemies show. Yeah. And that there's actually going to be some deep thoughts.
I like that. All right, you good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time. This episode kind of turned everything on its head for me. This episode kind of turned everything on its head for me. This episode kind of turned everything on its head for me.
This episode kind of turned everything on its head for me.